Thanks for joining me on this marriage transformation program. My name is Valentina Ibachum. I'm the author of 10 Basic Needs of Romantic Love and the creator of the Happy Marriage program. The statistics show that in the United States, 70% of second marriages end in divorce. 70%. For the first, it was 50. You would have thought that this person has a second chance to do things better than he did the first time. But you know what? Most people are creatures of habit. So they will do things the same way because they're thinking the same way. Because that's what they're used to doing. That's how they're used to responding to problems. So if they don't change and they don't learn new things, they will take the same person with the same problems into a new marriage, into a new relationship, and have the same problems. Recently, somebody contacted me and he said that he had just gotten married the second time. This was his second marriage and he was in his early 50s. And the person he got married to, that was a second marriage as well, in her early 50s. They'd been married for 7 years and they'd been married for 7 months, and he'd had serious problems with his ex-wife, and she had a controlling and manipulative behavior, and he got fed up with it, and they got divorced after many years of marriage with older children. Now he's been married the second time. 7 months after his second marriage, he wants a divorce. He wants to move out of his house and file for a divorce. But he's been married for only 7 months. So what happened? How come he's making the same mistake? Some people might say, oh, it's because it's a rebound effect. It's not about the rebound, even though this is a rebound effect as well as something else. The interesting thing is that he chose the same kind of woman as his ex-wife, with the same kind of controlling behavior he ran away from. I found out that most people that leave one relationship enter a similar relationship because that's what they know, that's what they're used to. If they don't have it, they think there's a problem, even though when they have it, it's also a problem. So they say 70% of second marriages end in divorce. What this means is that you can't depend on what you know and think that a new relationship will make everything okay. It won't. Now, what about third marriages? Okay, they've made the first mistake. Now they got married again, and surely by this time they should have learned from the first 2 mistakes that they made. Guess what? 80% of third marriages end in divorce. So it means that the rate of failure is higher. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching me right now, you're in the right place. You've made the right choice. You've chosen to save your marriage. You've chosen to heal your marriage. You've chosen to find answers. You've chosen to find out what you know that you don't know right now. And let me say this. It's important that if you want to save your marriage, you sow what I call seeds of change. And you can't sow seeds of change if you don't know what seeds to sow. I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm a person of illustrations. I love illustrations because they help me to drive my point home. So think about it. This is something that Einstein said. He said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You can't do the same thing and continue to do the same thing and expect something different from what you have now. You can't. So what do? You have to change your mindset. You have to change how you think. There's something that King Solomon said. He said, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So how are you thinking? And what has your thought patterns produced in your marriage? That's why I love the Happy Marriage program. The Happy Marriage program is a marriage transformation program. And how do we transform your marriage? We transform it by transforming you. Because we know that you are the most important factor in your marriage. If you change, your marriage will change. And you might say your spouse is the problem, but let me tell you something. If you change, your spouse will change. Have you watched one of those nanny 911 programs? I love watching them, and even the dog training programs. And you know what? I discovered something, especially with children, with the nanny programs. They talk about children that were badly behaved, children that don't like eating, stubborn children, angry, argumentative, badly behaved. And sometimes at the beginning of the show, I'll think, this child is in a bad state. This is bad. Can anything happen to change this child or these children? And especially the ones that really like to throw tantrums and would scream and shout, and their parents found it so hard, and sometimes their parents would scream and shout back, and it wasn't working. The screaming and the shouting just wasn't working with the children. And one thing I discovered a pattern watching the 9/11 programs, or there could be different nanny programs, but I found out something. The nanny didn't start with the children. The nanny always started with the parents. And the nanny taught the parents new practices. She taught them a new mindset. She taught them why the children were responding that way. She taught them how to talk to the children. She taught them how to respond to their behavior. She taught them what to do. She changed the behavior of the parents. And when she changed the behavior, the actions, the practices of the parents, the children began to change. The children began to adjust. And by the end of the program, usually there was a transformation. Maybe not 100%, maybe not even 90%, but there were marked changes. So now we're talking about a marriage transformation program. And what's the transformation? Going from where you are right now to being happy. So the Happy Marriage program is a marriage transformation program. And we start with you. Because we know that if we start with you, you will change, your marriage will change, your spouse will change as well.